The Uncharted series is one of the most popular games in the gaming scene, with Uncharted selling over 41 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best selling games in PlayStation history. Even the lower tier of the game in Metacritic is Uncharted Lost Legacy, and that was supposed to be a DLC but turned into a standalone game. So that's why in today's video I'll be going for the Uncharted 2 Platinum. However, I do want to talk about the game. In my opinion, this is the best game that I've played so far. I haven't got to play any other titles in the Uncharted series, and hopefully in the future I get to play them and upload them on my channel. If you liked the first game, then without a doubt you'll love Uncharted 2 as it improves everything the first game did well. One of them being the combat. Now it feels a lot smoother compared to the first game, although the combat in Drake's Fortune was not that bad, but sometimes it felt a bit clunky at times. The environment in Uncharted 2 is leaps and bounds better than Uncharted 1 in my opinion, as in that game you mostly stay on an island that looks grey and doesn't have any colour in it. However, in Uncharted 2 you visit different countries like Nepal, Tibet and Turkey, which look way better in the forest. Of course, we can't talk about Uncharted without talking about the characters. Nathan Drake, Victor Sullivan and Elena all returned from the first game. Then it introduced us to a brand new character called Chloe Freezer, which will get her own game called Uncharted Lost Legacy. And all the characters are voiced immediately by the voice actors. Is there anything that I dislike about Uncharted 2? Not really, and if I do have something I don't like about the game, it's not anything major that will affect my experience with the game. That just shows you how good of a game Uncharted 2 is. Anyways, we're out of the way, let's now talk about Uncharted 2 Platinum, shall we? There are a total of 53 trophies, which consists of 38 bronzes, 10 silvers, 4 golds and a platinum trophy. It takes around 25 hours to complete, with difficulty rating of 5 out of 10, so now let's get on with the platinum. The Uncharted Among Thieves takes place 2 years after the first game. Treasure hunter Nathan Drake is approached by his former associate Harry Flint and his friend Chloe Freezer. You're tasked to help steal a Mongolian oil lamp that is connected to an Italian explorer Marcus Polo's doomed 1292 voyage from China. That is the general plot of Uncharted 2. Without any spoilers, I don't want to have this game spoiled for anybody that hasn't played it. I think the story is good, it sounds special, but the characters and combat will make the story good in my opinion. However, before starting the story, I had to choose to either play the campaign on easy, normal, hard or Christian difficulty. So to maximise the playing time, I decided to play in Christian mode so I can get all the story related trophies at once. Of course, playing the campaign on Christian is going to be a lot of problems for me, and without a doubt there were, so here's all the parts that I struggled on during the story. The first real hard spot was at the start of chapter 4, when you're in the hut and enemies spawn around you. This was annoying as all I had was a weak pistol that took forever to kill and an AK-47 fled with no ammo on it. If you know Christian difficulty, you know you die very quickly. However though, after many attempts I finally got past it by using the grenade supply that were beside me to kill the enemies that were far away, and then kill the enemies with a pistol or AK-47 that got close to me until I passed a section. And then the next spot was in chapter 6, where after crossing the river and you have to take out the turret and the enemies all around them. This was hard at first. As soon as the counter starts, 3 enemies bum rush you, but once you know what to do it gets easier from there as you kill the 3 enemies, wait for the turret to stop shooting, climb the ledge to the left, go to the wall and kill the enemy that was on the turret, and it's pretty easy from there to kill the remaining enemies. And the next hard spot was in chapter 12. It is near the end of the level where you're stuck in a train and enemies all around you. At first it was difficult, but luckily on the train there's a bunch of weapons like the Dragon Sniper that one-shots all the enemies. Even with that, it's still hard to complete, and after many attempts I finally got past it. The next spot was in chapter 13. It is near the end of the mission where you're chased by the helicopter. This section is really annoying as I either died by the helicopter or I died by the enemies that furled up the train. By far it was the worst experience in the game for me, as I kept dying in the same place over and over again. However, after many, and I mean many attempts, I managed to kill the enemies and evade the helicopter's bullets to finally get past this horrible section. The final spot where I struggled was in chapter 19, and it's near the start of the mission where there's a turret and loads of enemies. However, what makes this even harder for me was that if you kill the enemy in the turret, another one respawns to take over, and this happens until you go over to the spot where the turret is. But if you take the enemy out and stop them from respawning, this area becomes a lot easier to complete. Now, that is the only spots where I struggle a lot on. Of course, being on Christian difficulty, there's still tough challenges throughout the game, for example the last boss battle, but once you know what to do and will enemies spawn, it becomes a lot easier to get through. Overall, I really enjoyed the story for Uncharted 2. The pacing was pretty good as the chapters didn't feel like they dragged on more than they're supposed to, and the villain is pretty good as well compared to the first game, and it was much better in my opinion. With that out of the way, here's the trophies from the Uncharted story. Now onto the collectibles. In the game there's total 101 treasures and 1 strange relic you have to collect for the platinum. The collectibles in Uncharted 2 is alright, they're not the best, but at the same time not the worst I collected. Looking at you Dynamite 2, if you just use a guide like what I did, then it'll take you a couple of hours to earn all the treasures in the strange relic. So here's all the collectible trophies. completing the story, you have an option to try a speedrun each chapter. For the platinum, it requires you to speedrun 3 out of the 26 chapters in the game. Is the speedruns difficult to complete? No, they're really easy and gives you plenty of time, and you can do it on the easiest difficulty. In my opinion, the hardest speedrun is chapter 5, as it's the only one that I failed at. The reason why I found chapter 5 to be the hardest is that you got to know where you're going, as it's got 2 climb sections. If you don't know where they are, then you waste time, and that results in the possibility that you might fail as you went over the time limit. However, on the next attempt I finally got it. And on to the 2 other speedruns. They're really easy to complete as I did them on my first attempt. That's how easy they are, so here's the speedrun trophies. For the platinum, it requires you to have a certain amount of kills with a weapon. For example, kill 50 enemies with M4 or kill 30 enemies with RPG. The weapon trophies are pretty easy to earn, as most likely you have most of them by playing the game. Like by the end of my playthrough, I had 10 out of 13 weapon trophies completed. That's how easy they are. However, there's an easy way to get the kills with weapons you need instead of going into whatever chapter the weapon's located in. So now if you have all the collectibles unlocked, you can get whatever weapon you need for the trophy. For me, I only need to do this for 2 weapons, and they were the RPG and the M32 hammer, as they were too risky to use in my playthrough. If you don't want to do this, it's still pretty easy to do, so here's all the trophies for the weapons.
What does that taste?
On the combat related trophies, half of them are pretty easy to earn and most likely earn them by playing through the story. For example, you'll likely get all the headshot related trophies or defeating 20 to 50 enemies with hand to hand combat. So instead of talking about them, I will show all the easy trophies here as I don't have much to say about them. Other than that, they're not hard to do. Now onto the harder combat related trophies. The first one is called Bare Knuckle Expert, which requires you to defeat 10 enemies in a row with hand to hand combat. At first it seems hard, but however I managed to unlock it while trying to go for another trophy, which surprised me a lot when it popped on my screen. The next trophy is called Dynamite Master, which requires you to kill 5 enemies with 1 explosion. There are 2 ways to get this trophy. The first one is do it naturally while playing through the story, or a second way of doing it is to spawn the RPG and use it in a group of 5 people. I added the second option because it's easier. The next trophy is called Steel Fist Expert. It requires you to kill 10 enemies in a row after weakening them with gunfire. This can be annoying as you need a big enough area where enemies can be spread out. The spot I use for this is the start of chapter 4 where there's more than 10 enemies in the area. Also, you can put the difficulty on easy mode to make it easier. Next trophy is called Master Ninja, which to earn you have to kill 50 enemies by melee attacking them from behind. This can be annoying to achieve as I never really used it unless I was stuck in a section that had enemies back towards me. Luckily I unlocked it while I was playing through the story, so I didn't have to grind it out on chapter select. Finally, the last combat trophy is called Survivor. This requires you to kill 75 enemies without dying. This was the hardest trophy to earn as I was playing on Christian difficulty and I would die pretty regularly throughout the playthrough. So after completing the story, I went into chapter 5 and continued after I unlocked the trophy and it popped in the middle of chapter 6. Also while doing this, I played in easy mode. There's one final trophy to be unlocked before I earn the platinum for Uncharted 2. However, the trophy doesn't fit into combat, speedrun, weapons or collectibles. It's called New Paparazzi in Town. To earn it, all you need to do is explore photo mode. All you need to do is enable photo mode in the settings, press down the D-pad. After that, the trophy is yours. After that, unlock the platinum for Uncharted 2. Overall, the platinum for this game was really good in my opinion. There wasn't any overly difficult trophies that I couldn't do. The hardest trophy would probably be completing the game on crushing difficulty, but it's doable. Would I recommend people to platinum this game? Yes, as there isn't any hard trophies and the game is enjoyable to play even if you don't go for the platinum. Anyways, that is the video. If you enjoyed it and want more videos like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more platinum videos and I'll see you in the next one.